Today on the show, we're going to talk about why I am only selling on eBay going forward, how much I sold my Michael Jordan card for. We're going to talk about our thrift trip on Saturday and have another sports card, an iconic baseball card that's sold for an insane amount of money on auction on eBay. Let's get to it. Okay. Welcome to episode 2 of Resellers Talkin Shop. Now, today is the February 17th edition, Wednesday, February 17th edition of Resellers Talkin Shop. Now, if you saw the first episode, or if you listened to it, you know that I had no intentions of this becoming a podcast, right? So I've talked about it in the past with my reseller friend that I met online, Kyle. Shout out to Kyle, Hawkman's Goods. I'll list his stuff down in the description. He also has a podcast where he talks about things he sells. So I've talked about doing a podcast before. And when I started doing this show, I was like, I'm just going to leave it on YouTube. Well, I had a conversation with him and decided to also extract the audio to Spotify as a podcast. So yes, if you're watching this on YouTube, it is also now Spotify podcasting. So check that out. Go follow Resellers Talkin Shop on Spotify. And if you're listening on the podcast, you can come watch this podcast on my YouTube channel, Doug Sells. Simple as that. So here we go. Hope you guys had a wonderful past week. We got past Valentine's Day. Hope you guys got lots of heart-shaped candies and flowers and stuff like that. I can't buy my girlfriend. I can't buy Leanne flowers anymore because our cat eats the flowers. The last time I bought her flowers, they stayed locked in the bathroom to keep him from eating them. So yeah, so we just had a night in. I cooked some steaks. We watched Pulp Fiction and we just spent some quality time together. It was a very nice weekend, very nice night. But I want to talk about several things today. You know, I was worried about actually being able to come up with topics once a week. And I don't think that's been a problem. I don't think that's been a problem at all. So yeah, definitely got some things to talk about. So first I want to talk about what I'm doing reselling now and some changes that I've made, some shifts that I made. I had to cut some costs and I had to save some time. And when I say save some time, the time that I was spending doing everything, I need it to be as effective as it can be to make the most money and the most sales the fastest, right? And so in order to do that, I've decided to just sell on eBay going forward. Now, somewhere down the road, maybe I'll hit up the other platforms again. I've always had this thought in my head, if we're going to resell, then we need to hit all the platforms. Well, in reality, I was using List Perfectly to list to all of the platforms. And I like that platform. I do. It's a very good software. If you haven't heard of it, it allows you to cross list to eBay, to Mercari, to Depop, to Poshmark. It gives you a little bit more control over your listings and you're able to fill in like all the small details in the metadata and the drop downs. Whereas as a software like Nifty, if you've never heard of Nifty, it's another AI cross-listing software that does a lot of stuff for you. It's really nifty, but Nifty left out a lot of the small things, right? You go back and look. And a lot of the small metadata things, especially on eBay, gets left out when Nifty takes over. And you're able to fill that in with List Perfectly. What I'm saying about saving time. So one, I got rid of List Perfectly since I'm only doing eBay. So that clears up over $60 a month right there, right? In expenses, in business expenses. Because when you cross list all these multiple platforms, let's say I sit down and I list 20 items in List Perfectly one day, and now I want to list them to eBay, Poshmark, Depop, Mercari, and my website. I had a website, and I still have a website. It's under construction right now. It's bluecityresell.com. It's going to be an informative website now, and a lot of links that lead to my eBay store is what it's going to be when it relaunches. But that's 5 different platforms I was listing to, and so 20 listings becomes 100 listings. And I don't think that's very time efficient in for what I'm doing. Because when I went back and looked at it, and we can have a whole conversation about all the different platforms, Depop is just kind of a joke. I'll say it. It's just kind of a joke. It really is. Like the way you negotiate, it's a younger demographic there, right? And I'm not shitting on the younger demographic at all, but it's almost like Depop is like a bunch of people 25 and under got together like at a flea market, and they're all swapping and giving each other great deals, right? So when you go there to try to make real money, unless you just have something extremely, extremely rare, you just get lowballed and lowballed and lowballed, and then you accept offers on things, and then people never pay, right? I wasn't making any money on Depop. I mean, I was probably making $20 or $30 a month on Depop with the items that I have. Now, it may work for other people, right? You may have different types of inventory that work better. That's fine. If Depop works for you, then keep doing you. You know, once you do things long enough and you get a big group of data or a big, amounts of data that you can go back and look at and see what's working for you and what's not, then you can make adjustments. That's what I'm doing right now. So Depop, gone, trash. Even though it is a 0% final sale value fee now on Depop. There's still a transaction fee, so it's a little bit, but if you can sell something on Depop, you're going to get the most out of your money. Period, right? That's if you get what you want for it. Poshmark, high maintenance. Too high maintenance, and let's be real, Poshmark, when it first started, it was geared towards women. And even though like men's stuff is on there now and men's clothes do sell, the majority of things that sell on that are women's clothes. It's people literally sharing their closets. And people do make a living selling on Poshmark as well. But you go look and you search for successful Poshmark people on Instagram and on YouTube. What is good? It's all going to be women. They're selling women's clothes. But Poshmark takes 20% out of the final sale value. You almost have to give your stuff away on Poshmark to make any money. And Poshmark now is doing the whole promoted closet thing, right? So your stuff only gets pushed to the forefront sometimes if you're constantly sharing stuff. That's one thing Nifty was good for on Poshmark. It would just share things for you automatically. You didn't have to do anything. Nifty was just sharing stuff in the background for you, following people, refollowing people, relisting things for you automatically. That is one of the best features in Nifty. And that was for the automative actions that it does for you for Poshmark, right? But you almost have to give stuff away. And like I said, they're doing the promoted closet and you could set a budget. It doesn't add percentage onto your final value fee, your final sale fee. It charges you per week. So if you set a budget for $20 a week, they're going to advertise your closet what they think is worth $20 a week. And you get charged $20 a week, whether you make a sale or not. I tried it a few times at $10 a week. Didn't make anything. I lost money. So yeah, I'd say second that was the most money I was making was on Poshmark, but I was almost giving my items away, right? To even make that, I was making, I don't know, $75, $120 a month on Poshmark. Once I got rid of Nifty though, that number dropped way down because I can't spend all day just resharing stuff and following people. So to me, Poshmark is very high maintenance and you have to play the Poshmark game to be successful there. And if you don't have time to do that, then most of your items are just going to sit. So got rid of Poshmark. Get out of here. Mercari. I like Mercari, right? 10% flat fee, no transaction fee. I like it. It's just not enough traffic. It's not enough traffic. It's very good for video games, sports cards. You can sell some clothes on there, but didn't sell a lot. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Mercari because like really the only reason I'm getting rid of Mercari is because there's just not enough traffic. And that's just extra time I'm spending listing things when I could just be listing extra things to eBay instead. I like Mercari. When the traffic picks up there, I may revisit Mercari and try it out again. But I got rid of Mercari. Simple as that. My website. You used to be able to go to my website and I had a Shopify e-commerce store where you could purchase things from my website, right? There's still a credit card transaction fee there with the processor. Other than that, no final value fee, of course, nothing like that, right? So I was paying monthly for the e-commerce store. I was paying around $45, $50 a month for that. So I have now shut down the e-commerce store. Now I still have the website. They have a $9.99 feature that still allows you to have a website. And like I said, everything's going to be linked. It's going to be informational and everything's going to be linked to the eBay stores. So I cut out about $120, $125 in expenses. So now if I sit down and do 20 or 30 items to list, it's all going to go to eBay and maybe I can do even more. A lot of times I could sit down and do 20 items and get them all to all platforms in one day. Now all that energy is going to be to eBay, which kills everything in traffic, kills all of those in traffic, is kind of mid-tier between Mercari and Poshmark in fees. We could talk about that another time, like how they actually charge you. And there's some hidden costs in there a lot of people don't think about. But also, when I'm doing my listings, I'm not just going to be listing things and here it is. Listen, I'm scheduling things out. I'm trying to schedule. I want to see if I can schedule 20 items a day. But right now I'm starting at 10 just to see if I can do that. Like every day of the month, I want 10 items to go up. So that's roughly, depending on the month, 300 to, 310 items that's going to go up every month with my store. That's the plan. And when you schedule things out like that, you're listing every single day. Your store's staying active, and the eBay algorithm loves that. And even just since I started doing it last week, sales have increased. Like over the weekend, from Friday to yesterday, I had 16 sales, and that is a big 3 days for me. I've not had a big 3 days like that in a long time, but we had a good past 3 days, and I got another sale I got to process. So I'll be going to the post office at some point today. So that's how I'm reselling going forward. eBay only. I want all my energy going to eBay. We're going to let eBay know, hey, we're here and we're going full speed. So please push our items out. So in the first episode, we talked about sports cards and how I've added that to my business. I showed you guys a not necessarily rare, but a really expensive, sought out basketball card, a Michael Jordan basketball card that I sent off to a company called PSA, which stands for Professional Sports Authenticator. Basically, you send, if you're not familiar with it, you send your sports cards or anything like with an autograph, memorabilia, you can send it to PSA and they can do two things. They can authenticate it. Just, hey, this is the real deal. This is not a fake. Here you go. And they put it in a slab. And when I say put it in a slab, here, I have one right here. I have a Troy Aikman card right here. This is the slab that they put it in. It's a hard case. It's enclosed. It's, protected forever. They give it a grade, right? You can see that one is a Gem Mint 10. This one. So they grade it from 1 to 10, right? And so, of course, ungraded, this card has a value across the board, right? Also depending on the condition, but it pretty much has a value across the board. When you get it graded, depending on the grade, usually between 8 and 10 with some cards, the value goes up significantly. So this Michael Jordan card that I had, it graded a 9, and I got it back and it was worth anywhere between $2,700 and $3,000, $2,700 and $3,000. So I was hoping to clear $3,000 on it, but realistically, I knew I was probably going to clear about, 26 to 27. I listed it on eBay very high with a best offer to see if anybody would offer anything that would help me clear that money. Didn't get any offers while I was on eBay, but at the same time, I had put it on Facebook Marketplace, and I got several messages, man. And let me tell you how not to start a negotiation. Let me tell you how not to start a negotiation by messaging me, telling me that I've overpriced it. This is what it's worth, and that you'll buy it for $500 less than what it's worth. I had a guy message me and he's like, man, you overpriced this. This card's only worth about $2,500, which per the PSA website, it was worth about $2,750. This card's only worth about $2,500. He goes, I'm a buyer for $2,000 cash. No, thank you. No, thank you. And the guy kept messaging me like, let me know if it doesn't sell. Let me know if it doesn't sell. I said, look, even if it doesn't sell tomorrow or the next day, I'm never going to sell it for $2,000. Never. I was like, I can list this thing for $3,000 on eBay and clear $2,600 easy. But I did have a guy message me. I got other messages too, but this guy messaged me. His name's Steve. Shout out, Steve. Steve messaged me and was like, hey man, would you do $2,800? I've always wanted this card. And I was like, that's a fair offer. I think this guy did his homework, saw what it would sell for on eBay and what I would clear on eBay if I sold it for that much. Like if I sold it for $3,000, I'd clear it was like $2,620 or something like that is what I would clear on eBay. And I'm just trying to remember. I had the numbers somewhere, but Anyway, he offered me $2,800. So two things that does, right? That saves him from having to pay $3,000 plus tax, plus shipping. Because when you ship a card like that, the seller is going to charge you shipping and charge you the price it costs to insure that card too, right? Because you're not going to ship a $3,000 card without insuring it. You're just not. So it saves him from paying $3,000 plus tax, plus shipping. And it saves me from selling it for $3,000 and losing almost $400 from fees. So it hit right in the middle. He doesn't have to pay as much and I don't lose as much. So he offered me $2,800. And I said, hey, can we give it 48 hours? I was like, this is the best offer I've had yet, but I want to clear $3,000. Can we give it 48 hours? And I did. Gave it a little bit less than 48 hours. I reached out to him and asked him if he was still interested. He said he was. I met up with him. We met up in the Costco parking lot by my house, and I sold him the card. He sent me the money. We had a good conversation about cards, and it was a great transaction. Steve was a very nice guy, and he has a very nice Michael Jordan card now. Shout out to Steve for a great transaction. Thanks a lot, man. And I cleared $2,800 in the bank account. It was a good day. All right, yeah, that's the most expensive thing I've sold since this resale journey started. Although that was a personal item of mine that I decided to get graded because I knew the value. I had no interest in keeping it for my collection. So I was like, man, this could really boost the bank account. It could really boost, it really help. So I'm glad that worked out. All right, here is the other sports card that I said I sold that was not in good condition. I didn't know how much to sell it for. I knew it went pretty well. It sold pretty good, but mine was not in good condition. Like if you can see like the bottom there, you can see the white scuffs. You can see the corners here. You can see the corners up there. It's bent. There's even some discoloration, like on the back of the card. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that there, but like there's some discoloration here on the left side of the card. I mentioned all of this and I put it on auction. I was going to sell this thing for like $30, but I just thought I'd put it on auction and see what would happen. Now, why is this card iconic? This is Bill Ripken. This is Cal Ripken Jr.'s brother. Bill Ripken was not the Hall of Fame baseball player that his brother was, but why was this card iconic? Let's take a closer look. If you can see here, he's just holding his bat. Oh, look what it says on the bat knob, the bottom of the knob. It says fudge face.
Only I didn't say fudge.
Fudge face. Somebody pranked Bill Ripken when he was getting his photo taken for the card and wrote face on the bottom of his bat. And Fleer did not catch it, and they printed the card, and it went out. So this is considered an error card because they then made versions of this card where it's blacked out, it's whited out, stuff like that, right? So they couldn't retake the photo. So, but yeah, this is the one. This is a very iconic card. As you can see, in the condition that it's in, it sold on auction for $91. Now, this doesn't say that it was an auction because the buyer, after they paid for the auction, messaged me and says, just realize that's not my address. That's my old address. And so eBay has locked it down to where you can't change the address anymore after someone's made a payment. And I think that's all fine and dandy because there were a lot of scams, a lot of people taking advantage of that. So I'm fine with that. So what we did is we canceled the order and I relisted it as a buy it now for the price that the auction was. And the buyer repurchased the card and it will go out today. It'll go out today. Moving right along. Leanne and I, my girlfriend, Leanne and I, also going to give you guys a yarn update. I told you in the last episode that Leanne is sourcing old sweaters. We got a bunch from the bins in Tacoma, Washington, about a month ago. We bought 50 pounds of clothes because if you reach 50 pounds, the price of the clothes goes down to like $1.68 or something like that, $1.60 per pound. She got a bunch of sweaters because she was wanting to reclaim old sweaters, because if these sweaters don't sell, then they get packed up and they either go to recycling. They go to recycling facilities where they break down the fibers and stuff. Sometimes they do. Other times they go to landfills, and that's just wasted clothes, wasted materials. She's always been big on saving anything that can be reused and recycling and stuff like that. So she's been practicing and she's been unraveling these sweaters and selling the yarn. We've been selling it on eBay. Okay, so yarn update. Look, so here's the sales. We made 4 sales on yarn over the weekend, right? We're testing it. I'm constantly testing out pricing and free shipping because I need to learn how to talk to people who buy yarn, right? I need the titles to talk to them. I need the price to talk to them. It's something new that we're doing, but we made 4 sales over the weekend. So we were really excited about that. She was very excited. So far, here's our spreadsheet. I'm just kind of keeping up with it to see. I want to see if this is profitable and I want to see how much we're making. So out of 6 yarn lots so far, we've made a net total. This isn't gross sales. Gross sales is here. But the net total is $55.45. Now that's just from 6 sweaters. The day we went to the bins to get all these sweaters, we bought, 50 pounds of clothes. And I had a small handful. I probably had 6 or 7 pounds worth of stuff of that. The rest of that was all her sweaters. She got almost 30 sweaters that day. This is only 6. We have 16 other ones listed. Yeah, here we go. We have 16 others listed, but I'm trying to learn how to talk to the yarn crowd. I'm trying to learn how to price it correctly. Do they like shipping? Do they like free shipping? Here are the yarn lists. We have 16 and she's still working on more. There's 2 or 3 more that are ready to go. With 16 listings up still, she's still working on sweaters from that first batch. I think $55.45 from 6 lots is very good. So if this keeps going the way it does, we'll make our money back in about 10 to 12 yarn lots. Hopefully the net will go up a little bit. I'm trying some things out. We'll see. We'd like to make a little bit more on average for each lot. Right now, I think we're averaging just over $9 a lot. So I'd like to see that go up. But I think there is some money to be made there. We're not going to get rich off of it, of course, but we are going to make some extra money. She enjoys it and it's serving a purpose. So yeah, we're going to keep doing it. So that's the yarn update. I went into talking about the yarn update because I want to tell you about thrifting on Saturday. Leanne wanted to go look at some more sweaters and see if we get sweaters. We didn't do the bins, right? We were like, we're just going to go to a couple of thrift stores and see if they have any sales. So the first thrift store we went to was a place called Magpie Thrift. They were having tag sales anywhere from 25% off, 75% off, and then orange tags were 50 cents. I didn't really plan on getting anything because I have a ton of stuff already that I need to take care of. But I said, you know what? I'm going to look and I'm just going to focus on 75% off tags. And I found a lot of stuff. Now at 75% off, I was buying some stuff I don't usually do because I've got to, with telling you earlier what I'm doing going forward, I also want to increase the volume of my store and increase the turnover time in items that I'm selling. So I'm okay with selling some of these brands that are staples and solid brands, but not necessarily high end or high money brands on eBay, right? So at 75% off and at 50 cents, I was buying stuff like Tommy Hilfiger button-ups, Van Heusen, Banana Republic, even an Old Navy, nice button-up, right? Those will be under $10 sales probably, or right at it. And I could promote those and still make my money. So there I paid $1.90 per item, what I got there, right? And then we went to another thrift store and they were having a 25, 50% off. And then they had tags that were 99 cents. Now I racked up here. I found a lot of stuff that was 99 cents. Again, it was some of those same brands like vintage St. John Bay, vintage Van Heusen, Club Room, still with tags, a Ben Hogan performance, golf shirt, new with tags for 99 cents. These are some brands that you see all the time in the thrift store and you go right over them because they don't sell for much. But the idea that I have, if I can get these for 99 cents or $1.50 or 50 cents, then I'm going to take some shots to get some of these items out there to see if people want them. Because even Dockers, you can't sell it for a lot on eBay, but I have sold Dockers before on eBay just for very little money. And if I can get that for 99 cents, then I'm turning it over, right? You're still making your money. I've got a different mindset on the ROI I want to get doing this full time. I need to do it at a high volume at competitive prices. And so that's why I took a chance on some of these 99-cent items that I got. And I really hope it works out. Yeah, it was a pretty successful last week, I think. Not really just sales, but just like coming to terms with the reality of what I'm dealing with, right? Doing this full time. This is my only income right now, right? This is my only income right now. And just coming to the realization of, hey, I got to cut some costs, and cutting about $120 a month out of the business expenses was really big. And I feel good about it. I feel good with my plan going forward for reselling on eBay. I'm wanting to try to get 10 listings up scheduled a day. I really want to increase that to 20. I have enough inventory right now to I could increase that to 20, but that might kill me. So that might kill me. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to see if it's manageable. I'm going to see if I can do it. I'm going to schedule the rest of the month out for 10 items, and I'm going to look back and see, could I have done 20? And we'll see how that goes. And guys, my dog vomited on my inventory. I was taking photos the other day. And I had, like, right behind me here, I had some like a pile of clothes laying in the floor, and my floor's clean. It's fine. It is. Leanne vacuums it. It is clean. It's fine. So my inventory was kind of laid out very neatly and stacked. And I just was taking photos, and I had to take a restroom break. And so I go use the restroom, and I come back, and not only has my dog made a bed in the middle of the clothes, he had vomited kind of on the floor beside it, but like the vomit like hit 3 or 4 pieces of clothes. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Gotta be kidding me. This is ridiculous. This is gonna set me back. Oh my God. So yeah, I had to wash those clothes, and it's fine. It's part of it. He's a sweet dog. It's part of it. But yeah, I had to wash those clothes, and I'll never tell anybody which clothes got vomited on. I'll never tell. They won't buy it, right? And that's going to be it for today's show, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoy getting on here and talking about things and getting things off my chest and talking about my ideas and stuff like that. Definitely love to hear your comments. I will be having guests on this show as well. I've already talked to a few people about coming onto the show and just talking that are resellers. So look for that coming soon. I don't know how soon, but I want to get this show well established before I start inviting people on, though. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the show, guys. If you're listening on Spotify, you can come to my YouTube channel at Doug Sells, DOUGSELLS, and watch the show. If I have screenshots and stuff like that, you can see this. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can also listen to this. If you can't sit down and watch it and you're in your car, you can listen to this on Spotify. Either way, follow both. Support me if you can. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.